So you've always been a believer. You've always been in it that way.
Yeah, just like it's weird too because we never went to church as a kid.
Yeah.
Ever. Like my family, and maybe that helped me find it on my own.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, I could see like forcing your kids to go to church could go the other way, right? They're just like, it's not for me, or you've made me go, I don't like it. So we just found it on our own. But my parents certainly always taught me the right morals and taught me that there was God, but we never went to church. It was just like, same thing. My parents were stupid busy and they just, living for the world. But eventually they did join a church and they went constantly. I watched our lives change. I watched everything change. But even when they did it, mom and dad did it, they never asked us to go. Oh, it was very personal to them. And the same thing has happened with us. It's just very personal to us. And just something like, it's hard to explain to people. Like I said this on Logan Paul's podcast. It was like the concept of like what we've got to do in our career has been what a lot of people just dream to do. We've traveled the world. We've skydived in Dubai over the Palm, and we've collected all this money in our bank accounts, and we have all these worldly joys, right?
Yeah.
But finding Jesus and the Lord in my life has more joy than all of that combined, and I can't deny it. There's no way for me to pretend that it's not 10 times better than everything I've achieved in this life. Like I'm that happy following the Lord.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's just...
What about it though? What about it? Like what about it makes you have that feeling or that emotion? Because people like listening. If
I believe for me, it's the comfort. I believe I get an overwhelming load of comfort and joy knowing that I can have peace in my home and have this idea that my family will be protected and that we will go on after this temporary life to this better place. That to me is very exciting. Like very exciting.
You've never doubted it.
Never, ever. Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, there's probably certainly been times it's like, why is this happening?
Of course,
right? And a lot of that's where free will comes in, right?
Yeah.
It's like we have free will. Like the Lord is never going to affect your free will. Right now you can go break any law you want, right?
Yeah, make a bunch of fucked up choices too.
You can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of the Lord. Like he, I don't know. It's super like strange to talk about because I've went my entire career without ever saying it.
No, but I'm at least at this point in my life, I'm really looking more towards it again. So that's why I'm just talking to you about it. So I'm interested in it.
I know the days that I wake up and I read the scripture are my best days every single time. In fact, I know that when I'm having a bad day, I didn't read my scriptures that day. Whether my day's good or not, reading the scriptures gives me just enough armor and comfort to get me through the bad situations in the day. Doesn't mean you're not gonna have a bad day, right?
Yeah, of course not.
But it gives you just enough strength to get through it. Like I'm weaker without scriptures. I'm not as I'm not even on my game as much without the scriptures. Like it really has saved me, man. Like seriously, it's saved me.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Fuck. I need to get there.
Yeah.
Because I just have doubt so much sometimes.
It's a lot of discipline. It's like reading scriptures is boring, dude. Like it's so boring. A lot of this is hard to understand. It's it's complicated. It's parables. It's not exactly designed to be like, whoa, this is so fun. Yeah. Right? It's like this sacrifice that you would sit for 20 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Read a few.
It's the thing for me that's so interesting is that my rational mind goes like, well, you talk about the scriptures and the stuff that you're reading. I always think then, these are just like kind of becoming almost like just daily affirmations. I'm not trying to simplify and say it's that simple because it's more complex than that. But what I'm saying is my rational mind, like the cynicism in it is like, well, is you're just believing this because like you want to believe this, or are you reading these things and you're getting the good information from it, and that's why your day is better. and not necessarily just because it's like a connection to Jesus or to God, right? So that's where my mind goes like, well, what about that aspect to it?
Yeah.
Like maybe it could be that same feeling could be granted to you from yourself in a different way.
Yeah.
And that's why I always go back and forth in it. But and then I try to remind myself, and I try to look back on my life when like I really like kind of surrendered and submitted to this idea and like being more connected to it. And I look back at the times that I would really actively pray, and my life was fucking great.
Right.
And so like I have this weird battle where I'm like, why don't I try and do that again? And then I'm like, well, I've been fucked over and I've been hurt and I've been this and I've been that. And I'm like, it's just hard for me to get all the way back to that, if I'm just being honest, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah. It's absolutely tough. And I think like it comes with a lot of responsibility too, right? Like even if the Bible was completely made up, let's just say it was totally fake. It is still designed to make a very good human.
Yeah.
Like there's no part of that Bible that would force you to be bad. It's designed to make you good on this earth, to have good morals, to love thy neighbor, it's designed to make good people. So even if it was fake, you're still getting the understanding of what makes a good person. Like I think it has such good morals behind it.
Yeah.
You know, just be kind to people. Why? I can't even believe we need to hear be kind to people, right? Like that's a real struggle for some people.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I
just
feel like the internet's made that shit worse,
be a
man.
human. Like that, you know, the Bible helps me a lot. Just like take a step back, man. Be humble. Yeah. Be humble. Be submissive. You know, ask for help. Get on your knees and ask for help. Like submit and say your prayer, and watch how fast your life changes.
You believe that wholeheartedly?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Man. Fuck.
I've watched it happen. I've watched my entire life change through this, man. Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Yeah.
It's proof is in everything you have, obviously.